The Metropolitan Council. It is Wednesday, February 13th, 2019, and I call the meeting to order. How's everybody doing? Good?
Wonderful.
Good.
Wonderful.
I know this
Madam
is a
Chair.
really big day because before we get started, I just want to say I know it's really an important meeting for all of us at this table. I'll have much more to say about these wonderful council members, all of you, during the chair's report. But I want to thank you all for being here today. There'll also be an opportunity for you to say something if you would like to. So I just wanted to mention that. For our next item of business is approval of agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Approval of agenda. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing ayes, the motion is adopted. Next, we have approval of minutes. I have a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded for approval of minutes. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing ayes, the motion is adopted. Next, we have public invitation. This is an invitation to interested persons to address the council on matters not on the agenda. Public comment on the agenda has occurred in the respective committees. So I don't know, do we have an official, who lets us know if there's someone to speak or not? Anybody? Okay.
You can.
Okay, all right, then we will move on from, again, I will ask if there's anybody that wanted to speak. Okay, seeing nobody, we will move to the next agenda item. The next item will be council business. I need a motion to approve business item 2019-30. Members, this is a budget item and therefore it will be a roll call vote. I will defer to the management committee members and staff to present the item. So I think Mary Bogie is going to.
I think I'm going to.
Mr. Melander, okay,
Right.
if you'd like to start.
Yeah, through the chair.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna have a story to tell you about you.
Oh, yeah. So this is business item 2019-30, the Unified Budget Amendment. This business item has been amended to reflect that it has not been presented to the Environment Committee to correct a $40,000 error in the narrative of the Management Committee business item. It was accurately reported in the attached tables. The amendment includes proposed changes to both the operating and capital components of the unified budget. On the operating side of the unified budget, divisions are proposing the routine carrying forward of $9.5 million in budget authorities from the 2018 budget to the 2019 budgets. These are contracts or projects that were budgeted in 2018 but will not be completed and fully expensed until 2019. There are sufficient year-end 2018 reserves available above target funds, these carryovers, and Metro Transit is transferring 3 IS staff from their division to regional administration. This does not result in an increase to overall spending authority, and $10 million is proposed to be transferred from the Transit Service Fund to the Capital Fund for the new bus garage in accordance with the funding strategy approved by the council last fall. On the capital side of the unified budget, the Transportation Division is proposing to increase the authorized capital program by $81.7 million to provide spending authorities for 3 capital projects that cannot wait until the first quarter amendment. These are funded with $74.1 million in federal revenues and $7.6 million of regional bonding, Orange Line, D-Line, MTS upgrades from 3G to 4G. This amendment has been reviewed and approved by the Transportation, Community Development, and Management Committees. The motion is that the Metropolitan Council authorize the amendment of the 2019 Unified Budget as indicated in accordance with the attached table.
So there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay. I'm going to ask the secretary to call the roll.
Councilmember Schreiber.
Aye.
Councilmember Munt.
Aye.
Councilmember Barber.
Aye.
Councilmember Dorfman.
Aye.
Councilmember Cunningham.
Aye.
Councilmember Lutovsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Reynoso.
Aye.
Councilmember McCarthy.
Aye.
Councilmember Rummel.
Aye.
Councilmember Melander.
Aye.
Councilmember Kramer. Councilmember Commerce,
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez, Councilmember Wolf, Chair Slawik,
Aye. So, hearing ayes all, the motion passes. So, and the motion is carried. Thank you all for your support on that. The next order of business is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion and second to approve the consent agenda?
I will move the consent agenda, Chair. Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, hearing ayes all, the agenda is approved. That brings us to the report of standing committees. First, we have Community Development, Councilmember Commerce.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first item is 2019-45. It's an action to authorize the 2040 Comprehensive Plan for Washington County. The county encompasses 423 square miles of land and water surface and is located on the east side of the metro area with 6 townships within its borders. Thrive forecasts steady growth within the community for population, housing, and employment through 2040. Thrive identifies Washington County as 6 different community designations, including urban, suburban edge, emerging suburban edge, diversified rural, and rural residential. As discussed in the business item, the county's land use authority is now limited in nature. Since the adoption of the 2030 plan update, Washington County's land use jurisdiction has changed, shifting that authority to the townships. The county remains responsible for regional parks and transportation, along with some land use related items like extractive uses and oversight of subsurface sewage treatment systems. Our staff found that the county's 2040 plan conforms to regional system plans, is consistent with council policies, and is compatible with the plans of adjacent and affected jurisdictions. Therefore, Madam Chair, I move that the council adopt the attached advisory comments and review record and take the following 3 actions. First, to authorize the county to place its 2040 comprehensive plan in effect. Second, advise the county to adopt the Mississippi River Corridor critical area component of their 2040 comprehensive plan within 60 days after receiving final approval from the DNR, and submit a copy of the final adopted plan and evidence of adoption to the DNR, Council, and National Park Service within 10 days after the adoption. Third, and finally, advise the county to implement the advisory comments in the review record for forecasts and transportation.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, see no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hearing ayes all, the motion is carried. Councilmember Commerce, your second item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The second item is 2018-333. This is an action to adopt the Regional Parks Funding Allocation Policy and Regional Parks Fund Distribution Policy. The 2018 update to the 2040 Regional Parks Policy Plan, which this council adopted November 28th of last year, removed significant finance-related policies and procedures from the 2040 Regional Parks Policy Plan in order to be more flexible with finance policies. The business item proposes 2 documents: the Regional Parks Funding Allocation Policy that would be in the council's policies and procedures, and secondly, the Regional Parks Fund Distribution Policy that provides more detailed information about each of our regional parks funding programs. Council staff have reviewed these documents with the 10 regional parks implementing agencies and the Metropolitan Parks and Open Space Commission. Both groups are supportive of this action before us today, and this is an item that the Community Development Committee has spent a fair amount of time on over the last number of months. Therefore, Madam Chair, I'd like to move that the council add the Regional Parks Funding Allocation Policy to its agency-wide policies and procedures, and adopt the Regional Parks Fund Distribution Policy.
Thank you. So there is a motion by Councilmember Commerce. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Hearing the motion and the second, is there any further discussion? Councilmember Munt.
Madam Chair, one of the reasons for doing this is it allows more flexibility than would be necessary to amend the Parks Policy Plan. So, for example, one of the discussions that you were a part of at the Equity Advisory Committee was the amount of money for the Parks Equity Grant. Right now, $300,000 is budgeted for that. That might buy you 2 benches, right? So if the future council wants to look at adding funding to that grant, it would allow more flexibility by having the funding and distribution pieces separate from the policy plan itself.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing ayes, all, the motion passes. Councilmember Commerce, I want to thank you for your service. It's not easy to be a chair and all the time that you've put in, so thank you for that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And as you all know, there will be new chairs in place, and I hope you will meet with them. You asked me about that, and that would be very helpful. Councilman Rummel, you don't have any reports, but I also want to thank you for your service. These are all big areas of work, and I know you spent a lot of time and energy, so we really appreciate it. Okay, thank you. Next would be management. So I understand Councilmember Melander is going to be reporting on that.
Right, Madam Chair, business item 2009-35 SW annual support renewal for Checkpoint Hardware 219. Checkpoint is our primary network security vendor. They help us support our firewall and security enterprise-wide. Support is purchased through a reseller. We receive competitive quotes through the state contract bidding process, and CDW was the lower bid. We use Checkpoint hardware to secure our network, including data center, SCADA environments, our credit card payment, PCI, and employee access. It is critical for maintaining stable, secure systems. This item has been reviewed and approved by the Management Committee. Madam Chair, I move the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to execute a contract with CDW 19PO41 in the amount of $1,460,000 for a contract period up to 3 years to provide ongoing support and maintenance service for the hardware that runs our firewall and security enterprise-wide.
There is a motion by Councilmember Melander. Is there a second?
I'll second that one.
Okay, hearing a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Hearing all ayes, the motion is carried. Thank you. That brings us to transportation and Councilmember Barber.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, council members, business item number 2019-37, same week, is an amendment to the current revenue scenario of the 2040 Transportation Policy Plan to add the Riverview Modern Streetcar Locally Preferred Alternative. Public comment period for this for this amendment was from November 29, 2018 through January 21st, 2019. We received nearly 90 unique comments from over 80 individuals and organizations. The complexity of the corridor and the concerns that have been voiced during the public comment process, including tribal relations, have led to a recommendation to draft an MOU to discuss roles and responsibilities between the council and Ramsey and Hennepin counties for the next steps in the project. Therefore, Madam Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council accept the public comment report for the proposed amendment to the 2040 Transportation Policy Plan to add Riverview Modern Streetcar Locally Preferred Alternative, direct the regional administrator to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Ramsey County and Hennepin County regarding the roles and responsibilities of the council and the counties during the continuing environmental analysis and pre-project development phases of the Riverview project, including the continued consultation with the tribal governments and communities, and adopt an amendment to the 2040 Transportation Policy Plan to add the Riverview Modern Streetcar Locally Preferred Alternative to the Transportation Policy Plan's current revenue scenario.
Thank you. So there's a motion by Councilmember Chair Barber to accept the public comment report. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, any further discussion? I just have a quick question. So to our regional administrator, so when you're drafting the MOU, like is there a timeline on that or a deadline on that?
No, Madam Chair, this phase of the Riverview project will be several years long, and so the expectation, as I understand it from you, is that, and from the administration, is that this work be a tribal consultation and other pieces be completed prior to the council accepting the project and opening a project office. And so I think early in that phase, we need to get the governance agreement in good shape, but there isn't a specific timeline on when that might come back before this body.
Okay, just hope we will keep an eye on that, and maybe when that's drafted, you could let me know or let the council know.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no any further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, are you okay discussing after? Sorry, Councilmember Munt, I didn't see your hand. Councilmember Munt?
Oh, you know, there were a lot of concerns raised that Riverview Streetcar is not going to the Ford site. And someday people will ask us, you know, as with North Star, why didn't North Star go to St. Cloud? There was explanation from that, good explanation from Ramsey County. I appreciated that. But what I want folks to know is that part of this includes a study about how transit can better serve people who will live at that future Ford site. And, you know, this isn't slated to begin service until 2032. So there's a very long process. And I would invite anybody who has concerns to have a seat at the table, because I know that with Southwest, our project is better because critics were at the table and they were part of shaping the project. So plenty of planning to go. And we've addressed those concerns.
Thank you, Councilmember Munt. You know, I will just comment that I was at the tribal consultation line with Chair Barber, and, you know, that's going to take some while just to get that done. And we all know that Port Snelling is a very sacred area. You know, they'll be doing alternatives. Well, they have to finish where the route will go, and that'll be part of it. So we shall see what happens. And with that, we called the vote. So I think, right? I asked for the vote on this. Yes. So thank you. So item number 2.
All right, Madam Chair, council members, business item number 2019-39 is regarding the execution of a cooperative construction agreement with the Minnesota Department of Transportation for construction of the Orange Line BRT I-494 and Knox Avenue underpass. The I-494 and Knox Avenue underpass Orange Line construction package is planned to be bid yet this winter, with work starting in the summer of 2019 and finishing in early 2022. A cooperative construction agreement with MnDOT is required to allow for the work to be completed on I-94 in MnDOT right-of-way. The agreement will also provide for MnDOT construction oversight or administration oversight and inspection services for a fee of 8% of the total construction cost, equaling a fee of approximately $1.656 million based upon current construction estimates. Therefore, Madam Chair, I move that the Council authorize the negotiation and execution of the cooperative construction agreement with MnDOT for construction of the Orange Line BRT I-494 and Knox Avenue underpass.
Okay, thank you. So there is a motion by Chair Barber. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing ayes all, the motion passes. Item number 3.
Madam Chair, council members, item number 2019-43, same week, is an amendment to the BNSF construction agreement with BNSF Railway. BNSF owns and operates freight rail service on the Wayzata subdivision, and the Southwest LRT project alignment is adjacent to the BNSF for 1.4 miles. Construction of the project requires shifting freight rail track to make space for the LRT. The civil contractor will construct site work and LRT elements, and BNSF will provide flaggers and construct freight rail elements. Business item 2017-164 authorized the regional administrator to negotiate and execute the construction agreement with BNSF, which was finalized in early February and will route for execution within the definitive agreements. Currently anticipated to occur within 2 weeks. This agreement outlines roles and responsibilities during construction and requires an amendment upon BNSF's approval of the project schedule, priority Group 1 plans and specifications, and cost estimates to perform BNSF's work. Currently, BNSF and Council have agreed on these items. The cost estimate is $4.5 million for BNSF activities. Therefore, Madam Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to execute an amendment to the Southwest Light Rail Transit Freight Rail Coordination Agreement construction phase with BNSF Railway to incorporate schedules, plans, and specifications, and issue a purchase order of up to a total amount not to exceed $4.5 million.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second on a complicated item, so we appreciate that. Is there any further discussion? Anything else? Councilmember Munt.
Madam Chair, just a shout out to our former chair, Eileen Schuerma, for the extraordinary job she did negotiating with the railroad.
Yes, definitely. I've heard stories about hours and hours of negotiating, and so she did a wonderful job. Good. Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, good. Passes. Item number 4.
Madam Chair, council members, business item number 2019-46, same week, is regarding the approval for the purchase of 8 60-foot diesel BRT articulated buses for the D line. In March of 2014, the council approved a 5-year contract for 60-foot articulated buses for a 60 base order and 88 option buses with New Flyer of America. This existing contract will expire on March 30th, 2019. To ensure price certainty and on-time delivery, we recommend leveraging the existing contract before it expires. Therefore, Madam Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to exercise existing contract options and contract number 13P183 with New Flyer of America to purchase 8 60-foot articulated diesel buses with bus rapid transit styling in an amount not to exceed $7,008,507.41.
There's a motion. There's a second. Thank you, Councilmember Cunningham. And is there any further discussion? Councilmember Munt.
Madam Chair, this is a win-win for everybody. These buses are Minnesota-made in St. Cloud by New Flyer, where they employ youth members from CWA Local 7200. These are good-paying jobs where you've got a living wage, health insurance, and a pension. This is good for the economy, and it's good for us.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing ayes all, the item passes. Item number 5.
Almost there. Madam Chair, council members, business item number 2019-47, same week, is regarding the execution of a contract for purchasing onboard video systems for new Metro Mobility vehicles arriving in May and June of 2019. Video technology has been an important tool in researching accidents, customer and driver incidents, and contract oversight. Therefore, Madam Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to enter into a sole source agreement with Apollo Video Technology in amount not to exceed $890,500 to purchase up to 122 DVR camera systems and spare units.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Councilmember Rummel, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, hearing ayes all, motion is approved. And last, we have item number 6.
Right. Madam Chair, council members, business item number 2019-48, same week, regarding releasing TPP amendment number 2 for public comment. The amendment includes 2 separate projects, one for the Metro Gold Line project and one for I-94 project from Minnesota 101 to I-494. The public comment period will extend from February 28th through April 12th with a public hearing on April 2nd at 4 p.m. Therefore, Madam Chair, I move that for the purposes of holding a public hearing and receiving public comment, the Metropolitan Council release the draft amendment number 2 to the 2040 Transportation Policy Plan to amend the Metro Gold Line project and to amend the I-94 project from Minnesota 101 to I-494 for public review and comment, and authorize a public comment period from February 28, 2019 to April 12, 2019, including a public hearing on the draft document to be held on April 2nd, 2019 at 4 p.m.
All right, there is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Reynoso. So with that, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing ayes all, the motion passes. So thank you, Chair Barber. I also want to thank you for your service. It's a lot of work to be a chair, and so thanks for all you've done over the last several years. I forgot to thank Councilmember Melander, so I just want to make sure I thanked him, because I know you stepped in and you were the chair for a while and so forth.
Oh, yeah. Acting chair.
Acting chair.
They all reminded me of that,
Those
too.
were rocky times.
These are rocky times at the council. Member Dorfman reminds me.
Really fast meetings, too.
Well, next on the agenda is the chair's remarks, and then also, again, there will be time for you to respond. But I wanted to point out, as you know, this is the final council meeting for the Dayton appointees. And I know you had an opportunity to celebrate your many accomplishments at the end of last year, but the accomplishments and the thank yous for your public service bear repeating. First of all, thanks to all of you. I know your time and your commitment has been there, and we very much appreciate that. For your time and commitment and for your passion on everything from equity and parks to wastewater and procurement. The work you did together is important. So now I have some bullet points, so I'm going to make some points. If it was a resolution, I'd be saying whereas, but it won't be that formal, right? So first of all, this council is the proud author of Thrive MSP 2040, helping to guide the region's growth and development and the comprehensive plans the council is reviewing this year. You opened the Green Line and helped ready the Green Line extension for construction. You opened the A Line and made progress on realizing many other important transit corridors, including Bottineau, the Orange and Gold Lines, the C and D Line, and more. And that doesn't include the development that is, and will continue to occur along these corridors. You adopted the region's first housing policy plan in decades and authorized millions to contribute to the construction and preservation of affordable housing. You've continued the successes of our renowned wastewater treatment system. Not only do our wastewater services allow the region to grow and prosper, the council is a leader in sustainable and renewable energy use. There is much to be proud of, and I congratulate all of you. Now I have individual comments. Now I will tell you, these were written by staff, right? Because I haven't been here that long. So, Lana, you've had a long and storied career in public service, including here at the council, serving for a time as a transportation committee chair. So thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Jennifer, your tenure with the council goes back to working as council staff to launch the region's first light rail line. You've been a passionate supporter of transit, and I know you'll be an ally in the future. So thank you. Rich and John, I know Rich isn't here, but I said, maybe he'll be watching or he's watching online or something. So we don't want to leave out the people that aren't here. Rich and John, together you made up our St. Paul delegation, representing our capital city. John, you most recently chaired the Community Development Committee and have been a strong champion for regional growth. Rich, if you're watching and out there, we want you to know your work with neighborhoods and businesses has benefited us all. So thank you for your service. Marie, the 2040 Transportation Policy Plan is better for your work on the Policy Committee. And you were always known as a tireless matchmaker, connecting questions in your cities with staff to answer them. So thank you. Sandy, our chair of Environment Committee and our #1 cheerleader for the work on the Environmental Services Division and its capable staff. So thank you for that. Gary and Kara, you have both been tireless advocates on behalf of the city west of the river. Whether housing, transit, or simply better bus stops, you made a difference in our region. And I know you always forwarded all that, we got one today, right? The emails. And so it's it's important that I hear the things that you're hearing too. It's been very helpful. So thank you both for your service. Gail, as mayor of St. Louis Park, you helped us usher in the council's Livable Communities program with one of the first projects to receive funding under the program for Excelsior and Grant. We've appreciated your voice on the council, speaking out on behalf of the region's most vulnerable people. So thank you. Harry, there's another one in here. So Harry, thank you for stepping in to serve as the council's interim chair. You've been a champion for the East Metro. So thank you. Ed, your passion for equity was clear in your role as the co-chair of the Equity Advisory Committee. And I'm grateful for your leadership in that important work. And it was good to see you in action. I went to the committee last week, and thanks for all your work on that. Steve, you chaired the working group that developed, he's not here, but Steve, he had to step out to another meeting. You've co-chaired the working group that developed the council's first housing-focused policy plan since 1985. That work will benefit our region for generations to come. Of course, I do want to offer my congratulations to Deb Barber and to Wendy Wolf. I look forward to our continued work together with the new appointees who will be sworn in next week. So this all moves really fast, right? And we do realize that it's fast for us too. I know you'll join me in thanking these council members for their service, for their hard work and friendship, and wishing them well as they perhaps free up their schedules in some of their evening meetings. So let's give them a round of applause. Well,
No, I know, well, we followed the group.
well deserved. So now we'll go to council members. I haven't figured out an order to do this, so if you'd like to speak, if you just want to raise your hand, and we'll go Gail, Jennifer, Kara. Gail?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman.
I'm going to ask a few more questions. No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I want to, just briefly, I want to first thank former Governor Dayton for the opportunity to serve on this body for the past 4 years, following Jim Bremmeyer, who well represented District 6 for the first 4 years of Governor Dayton's term. So I think we all know, since being formed in 1967, I think, the Met Council has helped shape our many communities into really an integrated region, enabling cities and counties to work independently while also working together in the best interests of the Twin Cities. From, as you mentioned, Madam Chair, from transportation systems and planning to managing sewer and water resources to promoting affordable housing and innovative land use, the work of the council continues to promote equity across this region and drive the economic competitiveness of this region. So I am really proud to have ended my career in public service today in this chair, and it has been such an honor for me to work with all of you and our wonderful Met Council staff. So thanks.
Thank
I
you.
wasn't going to cry.
Oh, it's I know you guys have done a lot of work, so thank you. Jennifer, Councilmember Munt.
Chair Slowick, I have two things. I want to thank our staff. I have never in my life worked with people who work harder or care more about the customers we serve than the folks in this audience right now. Every single day you earn my respect and my gratitude. And for the new council, I wish them the very best. I know many of them, and I will be on the sidelines cheering you on as you bring Southwest across the finish line and as you hold true to our commitments to racial equity and clean energy.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Excellent. Good comments. Thank you. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome,
Councilmember
thank
Latowski.
you. So thanks, Chair Slowick, for giving us an opportunity to say a couple words. It has been an honor to serve. Other people have said that. And while I sought reappointment, I think it's important to have representation on the council and kind of appreciate the variety of experiences that is going to be on the next council here. But even while communities are going to see more of their experience represented on the council, it's not just about representation, it's also about action. And so the decisions facing the new council are going to help shape future prosperity in this region. And the council has very powerful authorities to affect the outcomes in our region. The region that is still really challenged with the greatest racial disparities of almost any region in the country. So I just have one thought I want to leave the new council with, and that is I feel like more and more we're learning about how things like racially restrictive covenants and redlining have impacted the not only the history of housing patterns in this region and therefore economic outcomes. Those historic patterns are affecting today, and so we need to be thinking about what kind of systems are in place today that we need to break down a little bit as we create a future that has prosperity for everybody. So the Met Council has really powerful tools to break these up, but they also have really powerful tools to hold the system in place. And so keep looking for how you can break that up and create an equitable system for everybody. And so with that, thank you, Governor Dayton, for letting me serve, and to all of you.
Good comments. Did you see they're coming out with that PBS special on
Yes.
redlining and
Absolutely.
all of that? And I think that's important that everybody watches that, right? It'd be very good. I'm going to turn to this side. Councilmember Reynoso.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to thank Governor Dayton for the opportunity to serve my district for the past 8 years. It's been a journey. It's been an honor, and I'm very happy that and very appreciative of having the opportunity. There are a couple things I kind of wanted to touch on too. Yeah, it was fantastic. As a council, we kicked off. We got that green line going. But to those naysayers that said this isn't going to work, you want to see TOD? Come on. I mean, green line is the tops. I'm really proud of what we did with equity. We moved the needle. Not only moved the needle, but we did so much more than any metropolitan area has ever done on making sure that we have input from our communities. So I'm really proud of what we did as the Equity Advisory Committee, and I'm proud that I was the chair of that, a co-chair of that committee since the inception. But I'm also proud of some of the things that we did on the Equity Committee, the TAP program, connecting people to be able to go to work and live with a regular life and be able to get from point A to point B. And having the input on the fare change from the Equity Advisory Committee to me was key. And that really was really big for me. Another thing that I got to point something out. We did a lot of great, a lot of good, but I challenged the new council to do better with the ADA community. I don't think we're where we need to be. I challenge the new council to do better because we have a lot of improvement for the ADA community, and we have to make accessibility top priority for these people. I thank my brothers and sisters from the labor community, Jennifer Munt, Harry Melander, Marie McCarthy. We came here obviously to make this council better, but there's one entity that we always respected here, and that's our staff, our workers, our bus drivers, our environmental workers, environmental services, and all the other staff and all the employees that make this agency wonderful. We came here with that mentality, and if you remember, we had contracts that hadn't been negotiated or finalized for 3 or 4 years. So we changed some of that mentality with our mentality when we came in and respecting workers and pushing that ideology. I want to thank our Metro Transit Police Department. Chair, when we were out there that night, I can't tell you how impressed I was by our Metro Transit Police in dealing with the homelessness out there. That is another challenge that I put forward to the new council. There's a lot to do here, and there's a lot of challenges that we have, but we have to do better. But other than that, Madam Chair, I thank Governor Dayton for this opportunity for myself, and I'm proud of the work we did as a council. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your service. Other people inside, Marie?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Many of you know that I don't speak much during the full council meetings. However, I cannot end this meeting without publicly honoring and thanking a man, a great man, a leader, and a public servant, whom I have tremendous respect for, and that is Governor Mark Dayton. It's been an incredible honor to serve under Governor Dayton's administration. Governor Dayton believed what he said and acted on it. His actions matched his words. Governor Dayton was able to connect to Minnesotans because people really knew he cared about them. There was no pretense about him whatsoever. And so it brings to mind a real heartwarming story that I have, and that is in which my friend and his 5-year-old son went to an event that Governor Dayton was in, and Governor Dayton kneeled down to talk to his 5-year-old son. There were no cameras around whatsoever. And it would have been perfectly understandable if he talked to this 5-year-old boy at an adult height and level. But the governor didn't do that. He kneeled down and spoke with him. Governor Dayton genuinely cared and connected with the people of this great state. So it's with great gratitude and appreciation that I thank Governor Dayton for the opportunity to serve on the Met Council as a member, and I'm grateful that he gave me, an educated, hardworking, immigrant female, a chance to serve the people, this community, and this region. And I also want to take the time to thank the many local electeds, county elected officials, and legislative officials who I've worked with and saw on many, countless, numerous community events across my district and in the region. Now, they may have not necessarily agreed with everything the council stood for or our policies, and many were of a different party. However, they treated me with so much respect and allowed us to have mutual, genuine discussions about our differences. And also to the many people that I've met on many bus stops, transit stops, and community meetings. Now, these people will never have the spotlight or will ever have an opportunity to speak like I do today. However, I am so grateful and thankful that they took the time on their way to work as they were trying to make a connection on a stop. They took the time to talk to me and tell me their stories. And with that, I want to say they are the reason why this job meant so much to me and made this job so worthwhile in what I was doing. And so as my colleagues and I hand over the torch to the incoming members, it's reassuring to know that Governor Tim Walz's administration, that they will continue to contribute to the prosperity, livability, and sustainability of this region. Because future Met Council successes depend on partnership and regional collaboration. We do what one community cannot do by itself. So may God bless you all abundantly, my colleagues, my friends, and the amazing Met Council professional staff. It's been a great honor to serve together with you.
Thank you. Well, for someone who doesn't speak very often, you're amazing. That was fantastic. So thank you for sharing your remarks. Is there anybody else on this side? John?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very briefly, it's really hard to top the remarks that have been offered, Marie, in particular yours, but I did want to just say that for me, this service, this 8 years, has been an honor and an education for me. It's been an honor to be appointed into this role and be given the public responsibility of serving in this role, not only for my immediate neighborhood, my immediate city, but the region as a whole. And really, given the fact that the Metro leads the state in so many ways, we really have a statewide responsibility and an imperative, and that I think only gets more and more acute going forward. But I also want to mention just the fact that I have viewed this time as a tremendous education. I have tried to give it everything that I have, but at the same time, I feel like I got more in return in the form of an education on a whole very diverse range of topics. And this has been said already this evening, but our incredibly professional and committed staff, I have learned so much from you. I have learned so much from my colleagues, and I have learned so much from interactions with people in the region and in my district in particular. Not only people in elected roles, but people, as has already been said this evening, in other roles that are less often noted, and people who are running stores that are dislocated by construction, or people who are struggling with accessibility issues, or people who are visiting from other communities who are intrigued and impressed by the regional structures that we have in place. I feel like I just have gotten to know so much about so many different things that I did not know about when we started in 2011. So I feel very blessed to have been in this role, and I want to thank everybody in the room this evening, and certainly the governor for the opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you. Harry, before I go to you, I want to say that Councilmember Commerce told me that he is writing a memo or has written a memo to his the person that will succeed him. And so I just offer that as something that might be helpful to the people. I know we also had a debriefing meeting on some very complex issues that are not finished, right? They're just in the middle because they're so complicated. So if you need to have a meeting, let us know if you want to debrief. If you'd like to write a memo or something for your the incoming person, I think that's always helpful. And to the chairs, some people, the new chairs, may be calling you and saying, "How did you do this? And what's it like?" That would be helpful, and as well as the members. So, thank you, Councilmember Commerce. Councilmember Melander.
Chair, I wish you well. You got a big job in front of you, and at times a very, very big target on your back.
Oh yes.
But I, like others, have been blessed and honored, and appreciate the opportunity by Governor Dayton to sit here. I've always been a great fan of the Med Council. As I've said many times, I applied 4 times, and finally the 4th time, I made the team. But it's been a great honor. I'll continue to watch and learn and listen. And as John said and others, the staff has been great. I mean, it's a great organization. I mean, it's a big organization and do, tons of good work that really go, people just don't really understand all of the good things that staff. I mean, it's not us. I mean, we come to a meeting and, get an opportunity to participate, but it's really the staff and the full-time leadership that drive this big engine. So it's been great sitting next to everybody, especially Sandy. I've been next to her and Kramer, and we've had a good time. And I just wish everybody well, and especially you, Nora, because it is a huge job.
Thank you. I like that target on my back.
Well,
that was really helpful.
All you need to do is ask those people that have their picture in the back there. I mean, we're an easy target, and but that's okay because we've done good work, and I'm sure the new leadership and the new council members are going to do the same. So I just want to thank everyone for hanging around with all of us for 4 or 8 years.
Thank you.
It's been a treat.
And thanks for your leadership. You've been, of course, a leader in the labor community, as many of you have, and we appreciate everything that you've done. And, every once in a while I might call some of you, including you, Harry, for some advice. Okay. Is there anybody else? Sandy?
There's nothing else that can be added to what's been said. Every time one of you spoke, you took my talking points, but beginning with Jennifer, I think that this council would not have been as successful as it's been without the staff. You could always call on them. They came late at night. They came whenever you wanted. So I think the kudos go to our staff that support this organization. And it's just been a pleasure getting to know the rest of you and to learn, as John said, there's so much to learn being a member of this council. And it's been a pleasure. And Nora, right, you've got my back. I mean, I've got your back.
Something like that.
Thank you. I ran into Sandy walking at Maplewood Mall, right? Because of the way the weather's been. And so over the weekend, there we are, both putting in our steps. And so I think I'll probably see you as you have where I live in Maplewood. So thank you.
Can always call.
Anybody else this side? And I know not everybody likes to say things, so I think everybody. Okay, well, thank you. I just want to thank you again and say, life is about relationships, right? So keep in touch. We may be in touch, but I think for this organization to succeed, it has succeeded because of your input. We'll need your continued input. So I hope you'll remember that. Also, I liked your Councilmember McCarthy, your vision of handing over the torch. Right, so I thought of that big Olympic torch and the runner coming up, and right, lighting the torch or they pass it throughout the country. I think that was a really good symbol because you are, and we all are, on this journey, right? And so now the journey goes to the next torch bearer, and it is the staff that keep the organization going, and offer that continuous support. But I think we wouldn't be as far without all of you and your leadership. So thank you again. With that, the regional administrator, do you have any comments? You should probably make some comments after.
I think
You know,
I think everything has been said, but I will say again, thank you to all of you for your service, your time, your energy, your attention, your commitment. On behalf of the staff and myself, it's been an honor and a privilege to work with all of you, get to know you, and to really dive into the policy areas that have interested you and that have benefited our communities. And so we are lucky to carry forward the great things that you've all set in motion, and we will do that to the best of our ability. I will say, along the lines of keep in touch, we would like to celebrate with all of you as we open C line, as we hopefully open D line, as we open Southwest. Please keep in touch with the current email address or phone number so we can reach you and send you an invitation. I certainly, Anna and Peter, communication staff like Bonnie and Jan Price have functioned as informal historians and points of contact for past council members. And so whoever it is you keep in touch with, just let us know how we can reach you, and we'd love to see you again in the future.
that's a thought reunion at Southwest ribbon cutting, right? Wouldn't that be great?
That's going to be so great.
And Counselor, anything?
Yes, thank you. On behalf of the Office of General Counsel, I would like to thank you all as well. As a government attorney, we don't get to pick our work. Your list of accomplishments is long, and behind all of those accomplishments is a lot of really interesting legal work that we could be proud of, and we appreciated the opportunity to work on it. Almost my entire team has been here as long as you have, and has worked closely with a lot of you, so we wanted to pass along our thank yous as well.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for the good of the order?
Madam Chair, I'd like to adjourn
Also?
the Dayton Administration Council.
Yeah.
Motion.
So your motion is?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. There's a motion at the table by Councilmember Reynoso that the Dayton Council adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second. Any discussion? Could say woohoo, but all those in favor?
Aye.
With that, we are adjourned.
Okay.